I'm Jason Brashear, former Director of Foodways, current Director of Community Programs here at Hyman Settlement School. And we're just so excited that you have joined us in and out of this week in our virtual Dumplins and Dancin. You know, normally this weekend we would have been gathered here at the Settlement School, having tremendous culinary classes, learning about sorghum, learning about making dumplings, and getting ready to participate in a fantastic feast. Well, just like everything else, that's going to have to be put on hold for a little bit. But we still wanted to bring some great Appalachian foodways into your house and some wonderful song and dance classes. So hopefully you've been able to join in this week. If you're not and you're just now tuning in, check back on our Facebook page. You should be able to see some live events every night for this past week of things that's been happening. Today, I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite things, and that's cornbread. Over the years, I've turned into just a cornbread lover, but I wasn't born that way. I was raised in a house that made biscuits using Bisquick and dropped them on a pan, and cornbread was not ever heard of. It was something grannies made, but nothing that we made at home. I do remember one time we tried to make it with Jiffy Mix. Mom or Dad, one of the two did, and it wasn't very good, and then that was the only time we tried that. But on special occasions or when we went to Granny's house, there was always cornbread. But two very different types of cornbread. My Granny Uni's cornbread was thick and cake-like and golden brown. My Granny Irene's was really crispy and moist and just delicious. As I was developing my taste for cornbread, my Granny Irene's recipe certainly won my heart. And as I become an adult and got a cast iron skillet of my own, that's what I wanted to make. And that's who I called to say, hey, Granny, I'm doing this. I'm going to make some cornbread. How do you do it? So we're excited to share that cornbread recipe and share my cornbread story. If you've got an interesting story on cornbread, please type it in the comments. We'd love to hear those and learn about everybody else's recipes and how they do it, because there's lots of thought processes out there on cornbread. Does sugar go in it? Do you use buttermilk? Do you use regular milk? Do you use water? What do you use? So I'm going to show you how I make my cornbread, and maybe you want to try it at home. Well, guys, it's time to make some cornbread. And my recipe is pretty simple. I have pretty much everything here that I use if I was at home. I've got a wonderful cornmeal mix, and it's already cornmeal and flour already together. This is Weisenberger's self-rising mix. At home, I also love to use Three Rivers. That's my favorite cornmeal mix if I had a preference. And I, just like many cooks, I don't necessarily do anything by measurements. It's all by looks. So I'm gonna probably a cup and a half of cornmeal mix, and then I'm gonna add just enough. Here's my skillet. I like to use a small skillet because it's just me and my girlfriend Shasta. Our girls don't necessarily eat cornbread, so we don't make a huge pone to waste. I use buttermilk or milk to get it to the consistency that I want. And that's something that I want to talk about. Everybody likes it different. I like my consistency to be real thin. But I think it's important when you're making cornbread is to make your batter, get it mixed in real good, then let it set for 5 or 6 minutes, maybe while your skillet's getting hot. And you'll be able to see a difference in it. It'll go from, this is about the consistency that I like, kind of soupy, kind of thin, but it will let this set for a few minutes, and you'll see it'll kind of puff up and dry out, and I think that always makes the best. But we'll set that aside. Hey guys, we have mixed our batter. We have it just the right consistency. You know, I like mine maybe a little thinner than some, but I like to set it off and kind of let it dry out and change consistency. So I like to make that batter before I start getting my skillet ready. Now here's where I do something different. This is the way my Granny Irene made cornbread, but other people do it different ways. Some folks will will just put it in their cast iron skillet. Some will warm it in the oven. Some will do it. I like to warm it on the stovetop, and not the healthiest when it comes to cornbread, but you know what? That's okay. I like to put plenty of oil or Crisco in. I want it to create a good little layer that it swims in. That, in my opinion, helps get that wonderful, good, crunchy crust. So we're just going to keep that on about a medium heat until that's good and hot and good and sizzling. While we're doing that, I'll grab our consistency, and you can see that we're still thin, but it is certainly puffed up. And it will continue to do this as this is getting hot. So our oil is just about ready. We want to get it absolutely screaming, sizzling hot. That's the way that I like it. I've done it many different ways, but if I want a good, crispy crust, I get that oil absolutely sizzling hot. And then while it's still on the burner, let's make sure I'm going to pour that in. And what we want is we want that oil to overflow and come up on the sides and the top of that cornbread. And then we're going to take it straight into the oven at 425 degrees. I'm going to bake that until it's golden brown. I don't have a necessarily a perfect cook time, but probably 15 minutes or so. We'll come back and check it and hope it's golden brown, and we'll serve it up for you. Guys, it looks like our cornbread's almost finished. It actually may be a little more brown than I normally make it, but cooking in a strange convection oven, maybe not necessarily how I do it at home, but I'm pretty proud of the product. We'll pull it out of here, check it out. Nice golden brown, and it always, the proof is when you take it to a plate and you turn it upside down, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful pound of cornbread ready to enjoy. So folks, thank you all for joining us and learning how I make my cornbread and a little bit about my cornbread story. This afternoon we'll have a demonstration, another video of making chicken and dumplings. Another one that maybe have a little bit of controversy. Do you like your dumplings big and fluffy, or do you like them long and flat? And the difference is there. So I'll walk you through the way I make my dumplings, and something else that maybe you can put to use in your own kitchens at home. We'll see you soon.